session. Market opens at about 9:30, so we got about 50 minutes until market opens. That opening bell rings. But yeah, how was it? How was last night for everybody? We're gonna take a second. Seeing some feedback in the chat. A lot of good stuff. I've seen people posting their homework. What's the feedback of last night? How's everybody feeling after last night? We'll take things a step further here today. Perfect, perfect, perfect. I see that. I see that. I see that. I see someone said overwhelming. We're gonna get you squared away today. Anytime there's new information that comes to the fold, it's always going to be a lot of information. So one of the things that I want to take time to do is just kind of dissect everything, just to kind of make sure that everybody understands how things actually work here in the markets. So pre-market analysis. I'm going to show you how exactly during, the last 45 minutes of the day, up until market opens, that you can actually really get prepped, because how you prepare is how you're going to play. So if you never prep, you're not going to play well. So that's just really the reality of how this thing works. So let me go ahead and share my screen with you guys. And we're going to get right into this thing. So for people that say they're confused, I'm going to unconfuse you today. So by the time you leave, you won't be confused anymore. Make sure you guys are taking notes, copious notes. Don't have this on as background noise today. That's one of the main things, is how a lot of people get confused, not listening and not paying attention. So make sure that you guys are taking notes and reviewing those notes. So I'm going to show you here. We're going to go ahead and have, I'm actually going to go ahead and show you my pre-market notes and the things that I look for in the pre-market and how we actually go ahead and get started off. So this is actually going to come over now. So let me open this. So this is my pre-market notes for today. All right. So pre-market notes. I always start off with the three main indices, right? So we start off with the S&P 500, the QQQ, right? And then the DIA. So we focus on realistically making sure that we have a resistance level and a support level, right? So right now, the major resistance that the SPY needs to hold above is 637. The major support is at 631. So we always have a level that we believe, if the SPY goes above and breaks through, momentum can continue upwards so the SPY can go up. There's also a level that we believe is always support. So we believe if the SPY breaks that level, then the stock will go down. That ETF will go downward. QQQ, which is our NASDAQ, we covered this yesterday. You have a major support at 570. And then you also have a major resistance at 575 and 50 cents. Now the DIA, major support is 440. Major resistance is right here at 444. Now, one of the things that I always like to do is take advantage and understand market sentiment, right? So overnight futures right now, which is the SPY, QQQ, and DIA, they are slightly green a bit. So this is more of a bounce right now rather than a full trend shift. So we don't have a major move after hours right now. So we'll show that on our Yahoo Finance. And I'll also be going into the application version with you guys today to show you guys how I get busy on the application side, just to make sure everybody sees both sides of things as well. All right, so I'm going to switch over to my iPad here in a second. Let me go ahead and just get logged in on my iPad, and I will go ahead and do that. Now, the macro focus, right? We always highlight what are the main, there's always a main mover specifically in the markets, right? So the macro focus that we look for is what's policy talk right now. So obviously there's been a lot of talk about tariffs, right? Tariff talk and certain fiscal policy tensions right now. Those are the uncertainties within the market. Now, the stock market is at an all-time high. And so also this week, we also have Federal Reserve speakers that are actually going to come in and speak. So we have a couple Fed people speaking as well as inflation. So we have an inflation report that's actually going to go ahead and come out here in a second on Tuesday and as well on Thursday. All right. So tomorrow morning we'll have an opportunity to unpack that. Number three, sector and stock flow. So I always tie the specific stocks that I'm watching with the ETF that it belongs to. So that was the purpose of the exercise yesterday of using ETF.com. If you're trading stocks and you don't know what sector they belong to, you're doing this thing the wrong way. So I always match up the individual stock with the ETF when I'm looking to take trades. All right. So my trade approach, no 0 days. So what do I mean by 0 day trades? No options that expire within the same day. We never are looking to trade options on the 0 day side. It's just not what we do. All right. If we're long, right? So if we're buying calls, right? We're going buying calls at least 30 days plus out only after confirmation on a 5 to 15-minute candles if we're day trading. If we're short, we're looking to buy in the money puts. The same expiration rules apply here. Confirm a breakdown underneath support. So we want to see the stock break underneath support. We're going to have an opportunity to chart here in a second. All right. For day trades are a bit tighter risk, 2 to 7% usually for day trades. Tight management due to, you have overnight risk. So for day trades, you just want to be mindful of 2 to 7%. We went over some of the things yesterday on just how to make sure that you're protecting yourself risk management wise. Also, the final thing, 5, is news, right? Upgrades and downgrade rundown. So no upgrades and downgrades are usually necessarily tied to the SPY and QQQ and DIA as of right now, right? No movements there. So I provided some of the names that did get some upgrades this morning, mostly individual stocks. The companies that got downgraded were Trade Desk, which is TTD, and AI, right? So let me go ahead and show you some 6 key takeaways for the open, right? Watch for a rejection at these levels right here for the SPY here at 637 and 575.50. That's a short-term top risk. We're going to go over that on the charts. If the support holds into 10 a.m., you may look for a bounce. Respect all stops. The market could chop in between these levels. So I just gave you guys an overview of everything that we're going to cover. So we're going to refer to this sheet back and forth as we go to the charts. So this is just our pre-market analysis. Make sure, like I said, you guys are taking notes because it's going to be important. If you're not taking notes, then you're going to be lost on this. So I need everyone right now. Let me go ahead and get logged in on. Going to do 2 things. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of extra work. So if someone could just let me in real quick. I'm coming in on an iPad. And I'm going to take myself, disconnect off audio. Perfect. All right. So when it's time for me to switch over there, I will. So I will have some time to show you guys how to navigate the Yahoo Finance app. So I am here on both devices. So for all the people with the application versions, make sure you have your Yahoo Finance pulled up as well. Make sure, in addition, outside of Yahoo Finance, you in addition, go ahead and have TradingView pulled up because we're about to go to TradingView. So I want you guys to go to TradingView, and this is how we're going to do things. All right. So the first things that we do when pretty much we first get started for the day, this is a resource which is called your economic calendar. This is provided to you by MarketWatch. So this economic calendar provided to you by marketwatch.com. I'm going to drop the link in the chat so you guys can go ahead and see this and actually have this. So I'm going to go ahead and just drop this link in the chat for everyone so you guys can just go ahead and have this. Let me see. Just move this. See how I can do that. There we go. Everyone. All right. Apologies on that. Tardiness on dropping this link. So this is marketwatch.com. So marketwatch.com provides you with the US economic calendar schedule. So every single week we have reports that come out, usually between 6, sometimes as early as 6 a.m. But most of the time you're going to see reports usually at 8:30 a.m. and 10 a.m. Right. So the CPI and the PPI both come out Tuesday and Thursday. So what is the CPI? Someone's going to ask. Well, the CPI is basically our consumer price index, right? So you see that here, our consumer price index. Now, the CPI is one of the main metrics that the Federal Reserve actually uses to be able to decide what if they're going to maybe lower rates or increase interest rates. So that directly affects us every day as consumers, and the prices that we pay for our credit cards, our vehicles, our homes, right? Our personal loans, just anything dealing financing wise is going to directly impact. So the Federal Reserve sets that interest rate and they use these inflation reports as not the only tool, but one tool to be able to decide of whether or not they're going to keep rates higher, right? At a higher rate or lower. So that's one of the goals of the Fed is to be able to control what we call monetary policy. Right. So monetary policy. You have a resource that you can use, which is called federalreserve.gov. Right. So we don't have time to go into the Fed today, but this is a resource that you can use, federalreserve.gov, to learn about the Fed. Teaches you everything about the Fed's functionalities and how they actually go ahead and work. So I just dropped that in there for you guys here. Fed. All right. So within that, our job as traders every day is to analyze, okay, well, what news is coming out or what news is not coming out today. So we know we're not getting any reports. There's nothing scheduled here for the 11th today. So good. There's no news at all that's scheduled here on this profile, right? But tomorrow we know at 8:30, the CPI is going to come out. And we also know on Thursday that the PPI is going to come out. And then on Friday, August 15th, we have US retail sales. So what does this mean as someone who's trading in the markets? You want to be mindful because if you're holding a trade overnight, directly these reports can impact the market's movement, right? So what does that mean? The market may start off green, right? And could turn red in the post market, right? In the pre-market session, we'll get to that here in a second, right? So this is the importance of every single week. You want to know what reports are coming out and what time. The easiest way to keep track of this is the US economic calendar. It will also provide you the previous number and then as well what the forecasted number is right now. And then, of course, once the numbers actually come out, they will fall underneath the actual column, right? So the actual column, the medium forecast, and then the previous number from the prior month, right? So this is where you get that. Next, everybody has an X account. I presume if you don't have an X account, it's fine. You can create an X account. Now, I don't use X to gossip and all of that good stuff. I use X to get alerts about what's happening in the economy, what's happening in the markets. That's the purpose of using X, not to sit on here to play around. We use social media to leverage to be able to make us money and keep us up to date with what's happening, right? So if you want real-time news, the best pages that you need to go ahead and follow, Walter Bloomberg, right? So let me go ahead and log in real quick. So when it comes to these pages that you're following, I want you to follow Walter Bloomberg. This is Walter Bloomberg's page right here. The reason why I want you to follow him, and I'm going to directly share his, directly going to share it here in the chat as well too, right? So I'll go ahead and make sure that I share that here within the chat. So I need you guys, Walter Bloomberg, once again, super, 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 super duper important. Right. I'm going to share it in the chat as well, in the Telegram chat, the direct link, just to make sure everyone has it. So Walter Bloomberg, this is the resource that you need to follow because he's going to keep you up to date with anything that Trump says. Now, if you're trading in this market and you don't know what Tariff Man is saying, you're playing around. You're not doing the right things, right? So you want to know at all times what's happening in the market. News wise, this person is going to make sure that you are actually prepared for what's coming next. So there's going to be news that comes out, throughout the morning. Trump was just talking about liberation and all that funny stuff. He does a lot of funny things, but you got to stay up to date with it. Now, UBS, we also seen UBS raise the 2025 end of the year S&P target to 6,100. We're actually higher than that, to 6,100, and then set a 2026 target of 6,800. So there's Citibank also came in as well. So there's a few targets that were actually increased here, specifically on those names. Also, Paramount seals a $7.7 billion exclusive rights deal with the UFC. That is the course of over 7 years. So that deal will be 1.1 billion each year. So that was a deal that was announced. MicroStrategy, they purchased 155 Bitcoins between August 4th and August 10th at an average of 116,000. Trump and Vance, this was yesterday, 18 hours ago. So that's the piece of what I'll say is, like, when it comes to using this resource, this keeps you up to date with current news. When these reports come out, obviously we don't have any reports today. So the reports are going to come here. So you can go ahead and now actually go ahead and see this information that comes in. All right. So this information will come in at 8:30 tomorrow. Boom. You could check here. Those numbers will, come out. Not only will you have the schedule here, but now you can get that information from Walter Bloomberg, right? The next resource that is similar, Unusual Whales, gives you a lot of mix of economic information and then as well market related information. So Unusual Whales is a good site to as well follow. So Unusual Whales is this. So they're going to provide you with news based upon options, stocks, economics. You're going to see a lot of good news that comes out on a regular basis that takes you directly to some good reads. So if you want to ever make sure you have these alerts as well set too. Unusual Whales. So Unusual Whales. So make sure you hit that notification bell so you get those alerts. Those are the alerts that I want to see across my phone. I want to see about who just bought this car, who broke up with who. I don't give a damn about that. I'm focused on these alerts coming to my phone, giving me access into the information so I understand what is happening within this marketplace. That's the main reason why I need these alerts, because I cannot be in trades and not understand what's happening in a macro sense. So every morning I take the opportunity, take a couple minutes, boom, run through this and see exactly and also I'm getting those alerts directly to my phone. So Twitter will come in. Well, now I see something. Okay, cool. This news is coming out. So now I'm paying attention. All of these things that we just discussed, all of these alerts are lined up here directly on my phones. So that's the importance of, those are the messages I want to see when I look down. Not gossip and not e-news and not shade room. Shade room don't make you money. This does. These alerts, Unusual Whale and Walter Bloomberg, will make you money. So you need this. And then the final one that you could take is First Squawk. So these three right here, if you write these down real quick, these three right here is exactly what you need. You need each one of these, right? Unusual Whales, Walter Bloomberg, First Squawk. That's what you need to be following. As simple as that. All right. So we're going to keep the party rolling. Now that I have everybody that has their trading view up, we've done our analysis and our dive for the morning. Close this one out. All right. And so what we'd like to do is let's just come to the home page here. This is what it looks like, right? When you hit the home page. So it'll always come with the headlines and then what were some of the major news that came in, after the fact. So you'll see that news. You may see obviously similar news. This is how I knew already about the deal with UFC and Skydance Paramount. Skydance actually bought a stake in Paramount last week, and then they land the UFC rights deal for 7.7 billion today, stretched across 7 years, an average of 1.1 billion over that 7 years. Right. So all of your top news is always going to be here in your latest news. So the thing that I focus on is, and it looks different. This is where now I'll go ahead and transition here. Let me do that real quick. I'm going to share my iPad. And just so everyone that's on the application version can actually get a chance to see it on the application version. Because this is primarily, I do use the desktop, right? I showed you guys a little bit of the desktop yesterday, but I know a lot of people will be using the application version, which is fine. So let me go ahead and give you some game there. Let's see, 3, 2, 1. Yes. So we're going to stop them from sharing. All right. So everybody should be able to see. All right. Yep. So this is the application version of Yahoo Finance. You see me just press it here, application version. So now let me go ahead and press that here. So when we're looking at our application version, all I do is refresh at the top. So once I hit the refresh at the top, you notice that you can see all of your different indices, right? This is your S&P 500 futures. So right now we're essentially flat. So what do I mean by flat? If we're up 3 points, that's flat. We're only up 0.05%. So the S&P 500 is flat. The Dow Jones as well, Dow Jones Industrial Average, which also you may see it expressed as the YM, flat as well. Then you also had a NASDAQ, which you also may be, someone may say NQ. So the NASDAQ NQ, all right, is going to be the futures version NQ. You may hear that refer. So YM is going to be another way of people saying the DIA, right? The NASDAQ NQ, and then the S&P 500, you may hear it referred to as the ES, right? The ES. SPY and ES are the same thing, right? E-mini S&P 500, right? ES, which is the SPY. All right. So what does it look like for you here on the application version? Well, you have your list of tickers that you are following and watching. So it's your job as an individual investor now to come to these individual stocks, some ETFs, and be able to see and decide and see, hey, what's moving today? So if I see something that's popped out at me, I see, well, AMD is a ticker that I'm paying attention, that I'm, following for some time. It's down $3 today. Well, let me do some analysis and see exactly what's taking place on AMD here, right? So AMD will be one interesting. I see Apple is down about $1 and change. So I look for the stocks that's at least have a few dollars movement to say, okay, in the pre-market, you've moved so far. You could be a big time mover today. So I kind of just scroll through my watch list. Once again, how do you actually develop your watch list? We went over that last night. So you were supposed to take those tickers from ETF.com to actually go ahead and develop now and build your watch list. That's how you were supposed to do things. All right. So now, when you take a look here at AVGO, see AVGO's flat. So I'm not really going to focus on them right now. I see AI. Well, AI is down 33%. We know that based upon the pre-market homework that I did and put up on the screen, if you remember, AI was one of the companies that got downgraded. We'll cover upgrades and downgrades on where to find that. You can also use Market Watch for that. So AI is down $7. So interesting. I'll take a look there. You have Hood up $2. So I pulled them up. The trade desk was down 34 on Friday. It's down a few cents here this morning, nothing major. So I just kind of scroll through the watch list and see, is there anything prevalent that's actually moving. So every single week, what I do is on Sundays, I have what is called a weekly watch list. So on that weekly watch list, we go through all of the tickers once again for us to kind of see where are the potential big movers for the week, and we kind of do our pre-market. We do our pre-market homework, right? So this is the ways that you can actually look at your Yahoo Finance. Now let me hit SMCI. SMCI was one. I want to go through how you can actually set an alert. So you see next to the star in the right-hand corner, there's a bell, right? So all I did was hit that bell. So you see right now, you get 100 free price alerts. So you get 100 free price alerts here. So far, I have active 70 price alerts, some which are going to be for short-term trades, some which are probably majority of these are for more longer term investment price targets, right? So what am I going to do? I'm going to set those alerts for 40, right? And for 41, right? So 40 and 41. So now price alert, right? SMCI. And now let me put an alert for 41. All right. There you go. So now I have a SMCI price alert for 40 and 41. So this is as simple as I can stress it. Now, when SMCI gets to 41 and I'm in a trade on SMCI, I now know when SMCI is hitting 41 and when it comes down to 40. This is how you actively set up your price alerts. This is how you do this. So you'll see that it's in alphabetical order, right? So you may see I have like one for our ISRG for 275 and for 350. ISRG right now is at 470. That's areas that I'm looking to pick up ISRG from a stock perspective and buy shares. So you can use these price alerts for anything. CoreWeave, for my people that's in here, you guys understand that, when I've discussed CoreWeave and talking about this ticker, why specifically, if I'm looking to buy CoreWeave less than $80, and it's at 129, one, I got to know when it goes to $100. Two, I got to know when it hits $80. So I put two price alerts on this thing. I really want to know when CoreWeave gets down to $100, right? Currently in a position on CrowdStrike, right? And looking for Crowd to come downward. What did I do? I have an alert for 420 and 419. Also, my target on Crowd is what? If I'm looking for it, let's see. All right, CrowdStrike, let's do this. I need my target on Crowd is 411. I should have one for 412 at least. So now I know, okay, if that I set an alert for price to break what? Support. If I'm in a trade on Crowd and the support is at 419, why would I be setting that alert? Because I want to know when it gets to 419. I also want to know when it gets close, 420, because that's going to determine on whether or not I stay in the position or not. So that's the main reason why specifically, I'm looking for that trade there, right? So this is what I need. Once again, I need everyone to get this and to understand, right? When it comes to specifically looking at now, you want to make sure that you're protecting yourself, like I said. So my goal is to be able to use these alerts so I actually know when these stocks are hitting these targets, right? So this is how you use your price alerts, right? I have an alert on Apple for 220, 217, 215. So boom, I have those alerts set there on Apple. That's you want to be able to, once again, to utilize your alerts. I need everyone to get this and understand this. Alerts utilization. Please make sure that you are using these alerts. You should not be in a trade with no alert. Bottom line, you now know how to execute and set alerts. So when these stocks hit these targets and you get into a trade and you're busy, you're working, etc., you know exactly what to do. So that'll be how you want to use your Yahoo Finance. Now let's take it to back over here. Share my screen here now. Yep. Replace screen share. Thank you. All right. And we'll go back to the iPad here in a second. So you have your patience for the first 10 minutes. So we're right here at about 9:12. So another 18 minutes until the market opens. Right. So now it's time for us to dive in and do some of our pre-market analysis on some of our tickers via the charts. All right. So everyone go to your trading view. Purposely want to do this. So you now first three things that we first at least 2 to 3 things, because you can just do the SPY and QQQ once again, just depending upon what stocks you're trading for that specific day. So now I want you to get a feel. I want you to take it down here to and get a few tools. I'm going to teach you how to exactly make sure that I want everyone to make sure that their charts are set up properly, right? So your charts have to be set up properly. You're going to see this tool belt here, right? This tool belt that I'm able to just move around my screen right here, do whatever I want. You see, I'm grabbing this tool belt. Someone's going to ask, how do I get that tool belt, right? So in order to get this tool belt, you must start to favorite the trend line. So you hit this next to the left side. And I'm going to go to, for people that's going to go crazy right now, just give me a second. I'm going to go to the iPad and I'm going to show you how to do it as well, actually here on your trading view via the application version. This is the desktop version. So just stick with me. Need everybody's undivided attention because I'm only going to go over this 2 times, right? So the trend line tool, you take this trend line tool right here, trend line, horizontal line, and you hit this favorite side. So trend line, horizontal line, trend line, horizontal line, right? That's how you do that. So once you hit that, those will be added to this side. The next thing that I want you to do, after you go ahead and you finish that, what I want you to do is come find your geometric shapes, right? So right here, you're going to see where the rectangles tool is. You're going to see where the geometric shapes are. Hit that rectangle to the left side and then come and hit circle and rectangle. What I want you to do is hit favorite on that. So when you hit favorite, now those will be added to your tool belt, right? So now you have these tools. And then, of course, you can get the right here at the top, you can get the arrow tool. All you have to do is just favorite. Now, it may be up to you. You may want a cross. You may want a dot, a dem. It's up to you. I have the arrow. Some people may want to have the dot. Once again, that's literally up to you. Is you can go ahead and decide what specific tool you want to use there. After you do that, to avoid the confusion and avoid having to come back and rush all the time and picking these different time frames, you need to have the 1 month, 1 week, 1 day, 4 hour, 1 hour, 30-minute, 15-minute, and 5-minute time frames favorited. So we're going to give everybody a chance in a second to do that. All you have to do is hit that favorite right here at the top of the screen where you see this drop down next to where M is at. Now, all of the different time frames that I want to go back and forth to will now be all right here. So it'll be easy for me to go back and forth time frame wise. All right. So it'll be very, very, very easy for me to go back and forth time frame wise now. because now I can just click daily, weekly, monthly, 4 hour, right? So that is the main, once again, the main reason on how you want to do this thing. So it becomes easier for you being able to now use this. You got the monthly, weekly, daily, 4 hour, 1 hour, 30 minute, 15 minute, 5 minute. So these time frames up here, monthly, weekly, daily, 4 hour, 1 hour, 30 minute, 15 minute, 5 minute. So it makes it simple for you. Absolutely simple, right? And I want to, make sure that it is, once again, super, 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 super duper important. So you had those things set up. Now I want everyone to go to the 1 hour time frame here on the SPY on the S&P 500. We got 13 minutes till market open. All right. Now I want you to hit this bottom. And after this, I'm going to go over to the iPad. So for people saying, hey, I noticed I haven't even checked the chat, but I already know there's people saying, I don't see this. Don't worry. I'm going to that iPad. So I'm going to make sure you guys are good. Right. So hit that bottom right hand corner where you see this right here in your right hand. And I want you to hit session. Now you have to be on the hourly. The question that's going to come in the chat, there's probably some people that's on the daily, weekly, or monthly time frames. You can't get session under that. So make sure you are on the hourly time frame. All right. And click session and then hit extend hours. This is how you're going to add the blue and the yellow to your chart. Someone's going to ask, and we're going to explain what the blue and the yellow represents. The yellow represents pre-market time, which is 4 a.m. EST to 9:30 a.m. EST, right? The blue is going to represent what? 4 p.m. EST to 8 p.m. So the blue is going to represent post-market hours, stock price movement from 4 p.m. bell close to 8 p.m. bell close. I'm going to say that again. What does the blue represent? 4 p.m., right, EST to 8 p.m. EST. Then the yellow, what is the yellow going to represent? 4 a.m. EST up until what? Now you're going to see here until the 9:30 bell opens, and then we transition into white. Anytime you see white space, that means that the market was open, right? 4 hours and less. Listen here carefully. 4 hours and less is how you're going to be able to see after hours movement and pre-market movement. So the blue is what? After hours. The yellow is what? Pre-market hours. That is effectively how you find and see that. So blue is what? After hours. Yellow is going to be pre-market. How can you see that? You must be 4 hours and less. So can I see after hours movement on the daily time frame? No. Can I see it on the weekly time frame? No. Can I see it on the monthly time frame? No. Only can see it 4 hours and less. That's effectively how you're going to see it. 4 hours and less. So now let's go over here to this iPad. We're going to run through a similar thing. Screen share is coming. 3, 2, 1. Yep. I'm going to stop that. And we're going to come here to TradingView. All right. So now what I want you to do is you can go ahead and hit that plus. You see where I'm pulling down at. You see where I'm pulling down at? Hit that plus button. And I want you to type in SPY and hit the first one that you see, ARCA_fund. Now I want you to hit that. And I want you to go ahead and, oops, there we go. and I want you to go single screen. Now I'm going to show you how to use your tools here. Now at the bottom, you're going to see this brush tool. Now you see it looks a little bit different, right? We're here on chart. You're going to see your 4 hour where you see 4H, and then you have in the bottom left corner, you see SPY. Look at the left corner of my screen. All of your tools are at the bottom of the chart. Listen here carefully. All of your tools are at the bottom of the chart. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hide my lines. So you see that word hide next to week where I'm scrolling at, I hit the I button and I just hit it. So that is my way of making sure. Now you see the same thing here, right? Me actually moving this around. You see my tool belt. I'm circling around my chart. Look at my belt, nice and custom. Now, next to SPY, I have 4 hours, right? Where it says 4H. You see favorite time frames. You see it transitioned over here perfectly, right? So now is the same thing. You can now go get and favorite each of those time frames. So I'm using an iPad. So all I have to do is press it. Now, if I remove it, then it will be removed from my favorites. Me holding it, once again, that's how you go ahead and add it to your favorites. So it makes it seamless and easy. So now I ain't got to search every time. I just go to my favorites. Okay, boom. I'm on a 4 hour, but hey, I need to get to the hour. Okay, well, boom, there I go. I'm on the hour now. That is how you transition time frame wise. Makes it a lot easier for you. Now, move myself out the way real quick. You're going to see that paintbrush tool. Next to 1 hour, there's a space, but you're going to see that paintbrush tool right here where I put my tool belt right over the paintbrush tool. Look at the circle right underneath. Boom. Now I have my favorites. So my trend lines, I need to favorite the trend line. Boom, favorite that. Horizontal line. Boom, favorite that. Now, once again, you're able to now come in and now you found, once again, your brush tool. And now, oops, you have your geometric shapes, right? Your geometric shapes, your rectangle and your circle tool. Rectangle and circle. You need those tools. Once again, rectangle and circle. You need those tools to be favorited on your chart, right? So now, let's keep the party rolling. All right. Now what we can do is we come here to the bottom, follow my tool belt because my tool belt is going to lead you right. Now look next to the rectangle, right? That's the settings button. What should you hit? Boom, settings, session. Well, we're on an hour time frame. Can we see the blue and the yellow? Yes, we can. So now make sure it's on extended hours. That's simple. That simple. Extended hours has now went ahead and now been set up on your chart. So session is right there. Makes it plain, simple, and easy for yourself. Session is right there, readily available for you. Session. Make sure you put extended hours on. So that's how you're going to do that. So that would be how you actually use your tools specifically on your application version. So you can follow along because now I'm just going to go back and going to go back to the desktop here. So I showed you clear, plain as day. So everybody should be able to see this here on their charts now. It should be back on my screen. Make sure. Yep, everybody should be able to see. Perfect. So we now have about little less than 5 minutes until the market opens. So ideally, what we focus on is identifying trends. So you're going to see something that comes over. There we go. There we go. So I posted this book in the Telegram. I'll post it again as well. So this is the Charting and Technical Analysis book. This is a book that I recommend everybody to get. All my students should have this book, either a PDF, and you're going to have it too. going to be placed in the Telegram. This is one of our main reads that we focus on as a beginner to understand chart patterns, right? So when it comes to, this is your table of contents here of the book, right? So you got about right here, taking a look here on the book, you got about now, when you take a look, you're going to look at about 19 different chapters, right? So 19 different chapters covers a various of topics, right? Chapters 1 through 5 is basic information and just basically explaining to you how to identify candlesticks, primary phases, trends, trend analysis, right? You also have 7 through 8, which is going to focus on support and resistance trends and trend lines. So we talked about a trend line and using a trend line. We'll show that here in a second. Then you also have patterns, double tops, double bottoms, continuation patterns like bull flags and pennants, price gaps and reversals, moving averages, which we use, and it talks about stop loss and putting it all together, right? So chart patterns, very, 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 very important. Now I want to go here to right above this. This is the makeup of a chart. Anytime you look specifically at a chart, no matter the time frame, you should be looking to identify, are we in an uptrend or a downtrend? What classifies an uptrend? Higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. What classifies a downtrend? Lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs. Uptrend, higher highs and higher lows. Downtrend, lower lows and lower highs. This is what classifies a uptrend. I'm gonna say it again. Higher highs and higher lows. We got 2 minutes until the market opens. Lower lows and lower highs. That's what classifies a uptrend and a downtrend. So higher highs and higher lows, lower lows and lower highs. Uptrend and downtrend. Now, we can see since last week here. Oops, there we go. We go to our date. This was here on Friday. Stock price has been making here on a SPY higher highs and higher lows. Higher highs and higher lows. Now, price did have a couple pullbacks, but price is always still pushed up higher. So the easiest time frame for you to identify this trend, so always start off on monthly, weekly, and daily time frames. Those are what we consider to be macro levels. Daily, weekly, monthly, all macro. 4 hour and less is going to be micro. Once again, micro levels, 4 hours and less. So ding, 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 ding. Market has now just opened up. So we'll get some time here in a second. So the SPY market open, what's one of our main rules that we cover? First 10 to 15 minutes, you should not really be looking to take any trades, right? First 10 to 15 minutes, let the market decide what it's going to do for today, all right? So one of the main things that we like to do is we like to mark off using this trend line tool right here. See this trend line? We like to mark off our pre-market lows, and we also like to mark off our pre-market highs of our indices. The main two things that we can do is we can actually go ahead and mark off our pre-market highs and our lows. You're going to see this long extension that looks like a stick, right? And we call that what that's highlighted and called is a wick, right? So everyone write down on your notes right now, this is what we consider to be a wick, right? So particularly when you see here, you now are going to make sure once again that you have these two lines stretched across. So this is your high of the day. So your high is up here in the pre-market at 638. Your low is right here at 636. So a lot of times when stocks break below their pre-market low, that's where we can see a bit of reversal, right? That's where we see a stock price move downward when we see a stock break below its pre-market low, right? Now, we also, if a stock breaks above its pre-market high, this can be specifically where an equity likes to run. So now I also have the capabilities to go double screen. So double wide, right? So now I had a SPY over here. And this is, you can only do this with the paid version of TradingView. So for people that's going to try it and say, I can't do it, the reason why you can't do it is because you're not enrolled in at least the essential plan here on TradingView. So me allow my QQQ to pull up. Come on, guys. There we go. Like, what the hell is the QQQ doing? So now I take this and I draw this line across. This is my pre-market, right, high that I'm about to go ahead and set. Right there at 575. So that's where my analysis was, right? Now, so you have your pre-market high and your pre-market low. Now, of those names, once again, what are the names within, specifically within the ETF? Well, right off the bat, I see, let's see, we got Apple, which is up, right? So ticker Apple is up here, which is down about $1 and change here today. So Apple has came down. So that's one of the main reasons. We also have AMD, which just came down. So I see Apple is down here about $2. So if we break below this pre-market low, it's likely that the stock price continues to come downward and reverse lower. We got this QQQ here at this pre-market low as well too. So outside of that, we also, like I said, I had that 631 level, didn't I? So that was what was on the notes. So this is where we should always refer to our notes. What are our key takeaways? Patience the first 10, 15 minutes. Watch for a rejection at this 637 where we're at. QQQ's pulled down. If we don't hold, it's likely that price continues to drag downward. So that's where we get in take our key notes, right? So first 10 to 15 minutes, let things play out. We barely are even, we're at 934. So we'll watch exactly to see, as this plays out here. So you can have SPY over here, QQQ over here, which is fine. Now my job is to be able to come in, and now let's take a look at individual tickers. So I'll go to individual tickers, and the goal for me looking at these individual tickers is to see, okay, do I see any specific trend and move that's going ahead and taking place on these names at this time? All right. So eBay just hit a 52-week high. You may, obviously at open, you may get a lot of different alerts that come in as well too. So now looking here, where do I see at the same time that the QQQ looks like it's getting ready to test support? I also am noticing that Apple as well. So the QQQ, why would I go? I would obviously choose the QQQ or the SPY. So I see Apple right now is testing here at 226. Right now, I see there's a support level at 225. Well, I understand now if price breaks below and stays below on a 15-minute or 30-minute time frame, and I get a candle to actually close. So this 15-minute candle is going to close every 15 minutes. So this next 15-minute candle closes when? 9:45. When does the next 15-minute candle close? 10 o'clock. 30 minutes. Candle only closes every 30 minutes, right? Hour time frame. So now we see that this name is drawing down as well too. All right. So the price of the stock pulling back here downward. All right. So we see this is happening here with Apple pulling here at 225. All right. Qs are still holding strong. Let me see. We got that there. So the Apple here at 225. So let's see, do we get more of a pullback here on the downside? All right. So this is how you're combining your technical prowess, being able to now see, okay, is this as the stock price is coming down, now this move here on this downside on Apple, right? QQQ and Apple both coming here downward, right? So you got Apple move here on the downside and the Q. So as long as if the Qs can continue to come down, Apple will pull back downward. So we're here. It's 9:37, 3 minutes until this candle is getting ready to go ahead and close. All right. And the next 5 minute candle. Right. So we're here at 224. So Apple just draw down. So now let me zoom in on Apple on a 5 minute time frame and let me go solo dolo. So a stock just dropped $4. And let me see. $4 here since the opening bell. Right. $4 here since the opening bell here on Apple. All right. Price is here at 225. See here. 224. Then Apple, the next support level below, staying below this 225 is where? At 223.22. So as the stock price is pulling back down, breaking this level, right? We're still here early. All right. So here at 225, a $4 move here within the first 10 minutes. This is why I always say don't get caught up and jump right into things that open. You need to kind of let time play out on some of these positions before just jumping in. It's okay. You don't have to try to catch every single move. All right. So some of these, now the main question is, are we going to see a retracement back upwards before potentially going back lower? All right. Also pay attention to this wick. What is the relationship right now here within this wick? Well, we understand that particularly with Apple, at least, right? We are now seeing where the price is once again pulling down, but this wick here on QQQ is showing us that there's more buyers right now than sellers, at least here on the QQQ. When we're taking a look here on this name right now, there's more buyers specifically here because of the long wick extension. Price came downward, but buyers were pulling back. All right. So pay attention. Buyers were able to step in and buy. That's why the wick shows like this. So this shows you that price came all the way down here on this candle, but was not able to close. Even here with Apple, right? 225 shows you that price came all the way down here on this wick, but was not able to actually go ahead and close. So it was unsuccessful in closing there, right? Buyers were able to step in at that level, right? So buyers were able to step in. So that's where that wick. It's 9:40. First 10 minutes have elapsed. Yep. So 226. Apple is now. Now, on your Yahoo Finance, what I would encourage people to do is to now go ahead and set an alert on the QQQ. So now in the second that I would set an alert for 573. Because at least I know now if the Qs, I would set one for 573 and then one for 576. So now I know either way, as the stock prices, as the QQQ price is going up or down, I can kind of have some level of insight on where price is going. All right. So a break below 573, we expect the Qs to continue to come downward. A break back above 576 will anticipate that the market will take the QQQ, at least the NASDAQ, will take a move upward. Right. So that's the reason behind why you would want to go ahead and have those alerts. SPY on the SPY and the QQQ. Yep. Yep. So you see, as we had this thing side by side here, you kind of notice that the Qs and the SPY here 943 now, as the QQQ was rising. You see Apple kind of trying to pick up a little bit where it was left off. All right. Leave Apple right there. So right at open, I want to show this. You have Apple, which is right there, 226, but SMCI. So SMCI is coming off of this low, right? Price ended up bouncing. This is why I always say never hop into anything right at open. Because there's going to be times where stocks do run up first before pulling back down, and then vice versa, right? Where a stock can push downward and then go up. So a lot of times we wait because we don't want to get in right at open. Like I'm looking at a few stocks that opened down, right? Like even AMD opened downward first, but is now up $3 from the first 10 minutes. So that's why like there's so much volume right at open. And so that's why you want to a lot of times avoid just jumping into something right that second. All right. So that's the main reason why I always stress to people, be patient. You don't have to jump into anything right at the market open, the opening bell, opening day. Don't feel pressured, just having to feel like, okay, well, I need to jump into something right here, right at the opening day. All right. At the opening of the day. Let's see. So SMCI is up here right now at 45.86. So SMCI is a short candidate of mine. I do like it when my stocks go up that I want to short before I get in, right? So there was something that I said yesterday, and I wanted to make sense to people today, right? There was one thing that I said yesterday, and I said we want to sell into strength. So what does that mean, right? When we say sell into strength, when the stock price is going up, you want to sell. Do you think I want to buy puts if the stock is already, dropped $10 within a day? No, I want to be able to buy puts honestly when the stock price is upward so that when it does sell off, the stock price, when it pulls back, I can make some money. So I like it if a stock does go upward first before taking a put position on that specific equity. So I'm comfortable to get short on SMCI. I like the fact actually that it went up a little bit because I still think that the overall trend based upon what I see is downward. So it's fine if the stock runs a little bit before I get short. That's fine. I'd rather do that than me get short at the low then it bounces, and then I miss an opportunity to actually catch my short entry and anticipate my short entry. So that is one of the main reasons what I'll say specifically when it comes to this name. All right. So and that's just any name that we're looking to actually go ahead and short. All right. So the first 15 minutes has elapsed here now. First 15. So walk you guys through really just making sure that everyone understands a couple of things. 1 second here. Close out of this. Let me see. Would like to see if I have the whiteboard capabilities. So that would be perfect. Usually I have those. Let's see here. Just to make sure everybody understands a couple of things. 1 second. I can get whiteboard capabilities, that'd be perfect for me, guys. I can get those whiteboard. If not, it's all good. Get whiteboard. If not, let me go ahead and do this. Have the whiteboard capabilities. No worries. We got something for it. Let me do this. So I don't have the whiteboard capabilities right now, so it's all good. This is I want to show a couple of different things, order execution wise. So SMCI puts, right? So when it comes to SMCI, what you actually can do on this target, right? On this specific trade, we now seen the stop price has ran up a little bit. So what we're going to look to do is we're actually going to look to actually take the position on SMCI, right? So what was the date, right? The date was October 17th. So expiration date, the target, once again, we can get anywhere in between a $45 to a $50 strike on SMCI. So that's what we had the capabilities of being able to do. So we can get a 45 to $60 strike on SM Sizzle. And specifically with your options, with the pricing wise, we're going to pay for those October 17th. It's going to be a bit of a cost, 67 days until expiration. So it's right up our wheelhouse that we like. And we're going to get a 48. We're going to go here, get that 48, buy a few of those. And this is what the order screen will look like when you are purchasing. I'm about to go ahead and share that here. So give me a second. Mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. All right. So this is what the SMCI order screen looks like. All right. So this is on Charles Schwab. So you want to do a buy to open order, right? Buy to open order, BTO. So when you're purchasing a contract, what is it? It's always BTO, buy to open. So you always want to buy the open that specific name, right? BTO. BTO, which stands for what? Buy to open, right? Buy to open, BTO, right? What does STC stand for? Sell to close. So anytime that you're purchasing a position, you need to make sure it's on buy to open. Buy to open, sell to close. Buy to open, sell to close. Right? Buy to open, sell to close. Buy to open, sell to close. I want you to keep remembering that. Let that marinate. Let that stick in your head so it's clear, plain as day as possible for you guys. BTC, buy to close. Right? Sell to close. So you got 4 different order types that you can use. In this case, when I'm purchasing, I'm using a BTO order. Right? So 5, the strike, 48. What's our target? Well, we already discussed what the target was, right? So the target, now we just wait. Now we're just waiting on the stop price to get down to those levels, right? So that's our target with SMCI. Are we expecting it to happen today? Definitely not. We're not anticipating that this goes ahead and happens today. We know that it's going to take some time specifically for this move to actually go ahead and take place. We're cognizant of that. And so as we're getting into positions, that's why we buy time. Buying time helps protect us, right? Because we understand that we need time for actually these positions to go ahead and play out realistically. So we need time on our options and on our positions. So time is our friend, right? So we have to leverage and use time the right way. That's going to be what ultimately helps us and protects us. So realistically here on this specific name, right? Let me go ahead and go on SMCI. Mm-mm-mm. Mm-hmm. 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 Nice. Is then we have SM Sizzle. So SMCI, super micro computer. That's the trade. So we got, once again, October 17th. You can get anywhere in between a $45 to a $50 strike. So those options are probably going to run you anywhere in between $600 to $700, just depending on which one you choose. All right. Depending on which one you choose on your options chain. You need to make sure you have level 2. So for the people that are newer here, not trading yet, this is all about learning the aspect of understanding how to actually get into positions. So don't feel like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. It comes with time. What I'm showing and giving you examples of how we're actually, 1, watching the market, 2, being able to detect where price is going. All right. So this is the importance of looking at your charts, reviewing your technical information. All right. So now that it's 9:55, I'm going to start looking across the board at some of the other tickers that maybe have given a setup or not. All right. Lululemon ass. Proud. Let's see. Got our still see our SPY. So let's pull up we got SMCI over there. We got Apple. We know what they're doing. Let's pull up the S&P 500. All right. So still no clear direction at all. All right. So for the first 30 minutes, we haven't broken higher nor lower. So when we're stuck really trading within a range, there's not going to be much movement until you break outside of that range. Right. So 637. All right. This is why must pay attention. This 637 area. All right. So you notice these wicks keep bouncing off. So the price of SPY has not been able to actually break below this specific level yet. So it's just playing around, keeps bouncing. Let's see, can I get maybe so we got S&P 500 SPY right now. See, it keeps bouncing off of that, off of this level. So no clear direction on the S&P 500 right now. And what was that for? Oh, okay. Alert for that. Notable tickers that have moved since the open. We did see United Health and Eli Lilly and Company. Actually, both companies broke out a little bit early today. So Eli Lilly and Company. We have Lululemon Athletica. Lululemon Athletica. So we're currently right now, we're actually short Lululemon Athletica. So out here to this daily time frame. So we're looking still for Lulu to come down further. Now on Lulu, and you'll see it a little clearer. Actually, just to auto fit this to screen. Right. So we made a move lower and we came back higher. Now the next thing is for us to break below this low. So Lulu needs to get below 186 in order to keep drawing and dropping and pulling back downward. So Lululemon Athletica, got to see that break below 186. 186, man. Can we actually get below? So not a fast start to the day at all. Pretty slow. Not much, not a ton of movement. Been pretty slow here for the most part. Let's see here. So what should you do? You should put an alert. If you know you're waiting on Lulu to break below that level, you should put an alert on Lulu, right? You should put an alert for 186. All right. Because now if I'm in a put position on Lulu and I know that the stop price, I'm looking for it to come down, I need to know when it's moving. So now I'm gonna set that alert and say, okay, 186. So now I can come back to that. We want to make it as seamless and easy as possible for ourselves by having these alerts set up so we know what's actually taking place and happening. Right. So we want to make it seamless and easy for ourselves. So we had that alert on the SPY. We also had an alert on the QQQ, both sides, both ways. Now it's the part about, once again, just really waiting for our setups. All right. Let's see here. So that is pretty much it for the morning for right now. We got into SMCI. We're in Lululemon. So why was this SMCI a good spot to get in as well? Right here, we have a resistance at 45.90, right? So 45.90, we have a resistance point, right? So that is where we believe price is going to reject, right? So right there at 45.90. Mm, 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 mm. So wait and be patient there. Lululemon, Athletica, right here, 190. So now that I pretty much have all my alerts set, now just really got to sit back and just wait for things to play out now. We did all the hard work. Now it's up for us to go ahead and let things actually go ahead and play out for ourselves. So we got to see things actually go ahead and play out. So now we've done the hard work, the hard part. Now it's about letting things actually go ahead and settle in and actually play out for ourselves. So this resource, TradingView, explained how to use that just to kind of go over our other resources again. Unusual Whales, Walter Bloomberg, First Squawk as well. So First Squawk, Unusual Whales, and then we have ETF.com, earningswhispers.com, and Federal Reserve Board. All right, so you can take a look at the Federal Reserve, .gov, but it's going to give you information about the Federal Reserve. All right. You dive into that. Let's see here. Pretty slow action. And then Yahoo Finance. So we will be on again tomorrow morning, same time. So tomorrow morning, same time, going over order execution, doing some of this pre-market analysis again, and getting set up for your day. So this is kind of just what it looks like to, get started, setting up, paying attention to your technical analysis, your fundamental analysis we haven't went over, but we primarily focus specifically on technicals. The fundamental analysis really great as well for long-term investing, as well as when you're thinking about actually stepping into the realm trading, what are some steps that you should actually go ahead and now take, making sure. So you have to have all of these different platforms set up. That's the importance, technicals and the fundamentals, right? So the technical side and the fundamental side is going to have to be major in any trade decision that you make, right? You should have a technical and as well, in addition, maybe a fundamental reason to why you're taking a specific trade. Could be an upgrade and downgrade, right? Just giving examples of what could be the fundamental reasons as to why you're specifically stepping in and taking a trade. So I want to make this, like I said, this process, it takes the repetition to really get it. Having those reps is what makes, and using your tools is what makes all of this easier over time. You have to be willing to use your tools. Using your tools is going to be what makes this easier over time. Having your alerts, so you're not sitting at the computer all day, every day, waiting on positions, to make moves, right? So you have to do those little things to make everything make sense for you in the long run, right? So this is how we're doing this here now. Once again, getting those reps in little by little. All right. So we currently are short SMCI, right? So SMCI, we're short SMCI in that position, right? Lululemon CrowdStrike as well too. So we believe, based upon what we see, we think that the market is going to pull back downward. So we had, like I said, those alerts actually there and gone ahead and set up. So that is essentially really everything from me for today, for right now. We do have another class tonight at I would encourage people to be there at 8:15 and be on, 8:15 sharp. So you can use this same Zoom link as well for the class. I will be reposting a lot of the main information here. I will be posting a lot of the guides that you may have seen me refer to. So you'll see a lot of those information that's actually went ahead and placed here within the chat. All right. So do pay attention to the Telegram. Yeah. Yeah. Do pay attention to the Telegram. Information will be posted there for my people. I will be inside the Discord and going over a few things there. So I will be inside there and we'll connect here in a second. Yeah. So hopefully everybody got a lot, was able to really get themselves set up, familiarize with everything, and we'll continue to push this thing forward. So it is 10:08. So excited. We'll look forward to seeing everyone tonight. And appreciate you guys for your time. And see you guys in the morning as well. So 8:30 a.m. EST. So I appreciate y'all.